Keki, if I could start with you, doesn't seem like, the rupee is taking its cues at all from the five-pronged strategy announced by the finance minister over the weekend, because it's almost seeming that the market really anticipated this move and it's turning out to be a buy on rumor, sell on decline kind of story, the currency today.
Well, I guess the more global factors are extremely negative from our perspective, oil prices being where they are, U.S. economy being where they are, strength of the U.S. dollar. These are all factors which are obviously weighing in on the currency. What was announced on Friday was positive. It's a good measure, but I wish a little more could have been done because, for example, we've reduced the withholding tax, so we've removed withholding tax requirement for Masala Bonds. But there is withholding tax requirement which continues on external commercial borrowings. So ECBs, there is withholding tax. Masala Bonds, there is no withholding tax. The period of the minimum period for which the money could be raised either through Masala Bond or through the ECB route is now 5 years. But there is relative demand for 5-year money. There is more demand for 3-year money, particularly in the syndicated loan market. So if you reduce the term from 5 to 3 years, that would also go a long way in getting in more money into India. And lastly, I think the process of getting the approvals could be put through the automatic route. So if the if raising money through external commercial borrowing or a Masala Bond could be put in the automatic route, then it could expedite the process and make it faster to get the currency into India, get dollars into India, which would help the currency, help the rupee.
So, Keki, you don't believe that the exemption from withholding tax for issuance of Masala Bonds is going to reduce the cost of borrowing significantly?
No, obviously it will reduce the cost of borrowing, but when you borrow money from overseas, there are 2 ways you can borrow money. One is to borrow money to Masala Bonds, which is rupee-denominated bonds. The other is to borrow money to external commercial borrowing, which is dollar-denominated borrowing. Now, what the withholding tax has been removed for Masala Bonds, which is very positive, extremely positive. But it's been done only for Masala Bonds, not for external commercial borrowing.
Good morning, Mr. Mistry. When you were talking about how you've read into these measures and saying that there could have been a little more as well that could have been done, do you think that, perhaps if push comes to shove, restoring the bias credit, raising interest rates, all of those, plans as well could be resorted to?
Raising interest rates is really an answer. It might be the most logical economic answer that an economist would give you, but I'm not too sure that is the right strategy in my view because as it is, interest rates are high, domestic liquidity is weak. So I think what we need to do perhaps is a couple of other things. We need to firstly infuse more liquidity into the system. Not that that is going to help the currency, but at least we need to infuse liquidity. We should discourage import of non-essential items and encourage encourage exports. Any kind of exports should be encouraged. Imports, as I said, through levy of import duty could be discouraged for non-essential items. Oil purchases by oil companies should be directly from the reserves of the RBI and not from the market. That would stem some of the volatility that we are seeing. And lastly, we should have some more money raised through external, through NRI bonds. But rather than raise money through a bond issue, I would say you should raise money through an NRI loan issue, which is a non-tradable instrument.